Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Hello, Ashley.
Hello. Hopefully my voice is sounding a bit better this week than last week.
It does. And Good. You sound like you have some energy. So yes. Welcome back.
Thank you. I went to a yoga class today for the first time in 2 weeks. Kicked my ass, but it helps get the body moving again.
Absolutely. Happy Black History Month.
Happy continued Black History Month. Blackity yes. black. Love y'all.
For those who are new here, we celebrate our Blackness 365. But this is just a special time of the year where we get a chance to, bask in our Blackness. Speaking of basking in Blackness, I have a game I would like to play with you. It is called Top 3. It is a trivia game. The focus is music. So this is R&B, hip hop music. And it's a fun game. The creator and the business people behind it, Black women. So shout out to Black Girl Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 cards. It should go fairly quickly, but the fun thing about this game is I'm going to list the song titles. No humming or anything. I'm going to list them. You should be able to figure them out. But I list all 3. And then if that doesn't work, then I'm able to give like more hints.
Because I'm terrible with song titles, I feel like. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay. And remember, this is R&B and hip hop music. Okay. The name of the game is Top 3.
So is it you're naming the song and I'm naming the artist?
You are correct.
Okay.
And I'm going to list 3 of their songs. Okay. First card. The Night I Fell in Love, Creepin'. She's So Good to Me.
I have no idea.
All I Need is a favorite refrain for this artist.
You're All I Need is a famous refrain?
Yes, that's a famous.
You're all I need or your love is all I need?
That's a great question. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself.
Because I was going to say, if so, is that Luther? But.
Correct.
Okay.
What's the proper phrasing?
I think it's your love is all I need.
Your love is all I need. Yeah. See? But in my mind, I'm thinking here and now. Okay. Next song. Call Me. Freeway of Love. Jump to It.
Hints, please.
Legend.
Yeah.
Female.
What's the 3 again?
Call Me. Freeway of Love. Jump to It.
These are feel so ambiguous. I'm sure the diehards are like, that's so easy. But what?
Screaming at their phones as we speak.
Legendary woman. Powerhouse vocalist?
Correct.
Related to Whitney Houston?
That's a great question. I don't think so, but maybe. This is a good clue here. Cadillac.
Like
Pink?
Cadillac Records?
No.
Pink? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Oh my God. Is it Patty?
Nope.
Is it Aretha?
Correct.
Okay.
One last one. This one should be a little bit easier. Sure Thing. Skywalker. Adorn.
Is that SZA?
No, but you're in the right realm.
I thought Skywalker was SZA.
Nope.
Huh.
Mel.
Oh, male. Oh, is it Miguel?
Yep.
Okay. Adorn threw me because I was thinking Miguel for a minute, but I was like, I thought Skywalker was a SZA song. But again, I'm terrible with song titles, y'all. If it's not probably like Beyonce or Usher or somebody like that, I'm not gonna know these people's song titles. But
The
I know the
Beyonce card
song.
was hard.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it though, because I feel like, we talk enough about Beyonce. So I
I'm
want to give
shocked that it was
somebody else.
hard. The 3 songs were hard.
Yeah. They're like deep cuts. Although
Try.
I know her discography really well from I Am.
I was about to say, I feel like Try Me. I want to hear it. Can I hear it?
Girl, you were asking me to look through a bunch of cards. So.
Okay, if it's too much, we can save it. But I feel like I would know Beyonce's. I feel like if there's nobody else's I should know Beyonce because I've listened to every single album multiple times.
Yes. Okay.
So, well, that was interesting. Again,
Yeah.
it feels like, especially if I'm drinking, I'd have a ball trying all of these. But
I
I'm
love a
definitely
good trivia
someone
moment.
girl. When I tell you there's a spot across the street from me that I just found out does trivia, and I found out they had a Schitt's Creek trivia night, I said, why didn't y'all tell me in advance? Because I would have killed at Schitt's
Why
Creek
haven't
trivia.
you invited me yet?
Because I haven't gone yet.
We
I haven't
need to
gone.
go.
They do different ones. They have like a bachelor trivia night. They have all types of different ones. So I'll find another one that's good. And we gonna destroy. We're gonna come in there with our ReCappin merch on and be like, yo, we here, pop culture queens. Let's do this.
You know what's so funny? When I talk to people, I don't lead with that. Like, and they'll be like, you know a lot. And I'm like, oh, I just know some things.
Girl, we got a lot stored up in these domes in terms of all this stuff. So if there's nowhere else we can put it off to, let's win some trivia. I don't know what the wins are going to be, some drinks and some wings, but I'll take it.
Oh, really quick though, before we move into our headlines, happy birthday, Miss Rowland, Kelly Rowland, 44 years old. Girl, did you see those pictures?
I haven't, but she looks amazing in everything I ever see her in.
Now, please look them up because fire. Okay, like I want to be her when I grow up.
Don't we all? Especially after she forbade Nelly from playing that song.
Because she stands on business. What's up with these men? Like, do they not have spines? Everybody's talk about, everybody always talks down about women, but it's like we stand on business when it calls
she got the balloons and the wrapping.
Yes.
Very cute. Body oddy, baby.
The skin was popping. Yes. She looks phenomenal.
Yes, absolutely. Love it.
All right. So speaking of melanated skin, let's get into our first headline.
Great segue.
I am looking at, thank you, The Root. Amandla Stenberg responds to ignorant claims she steals roles from darker skinned Black women. After the, quote, Children of Blood and Bone cast was announced, there has been a backlash on social media. Ashley, we just talked about this exciting news at the top of the year, even though, girl, I joke about this internally, but these last 3 weeks feels like 5 years. Okay. And we're like, it's only been 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the highlights was the announcement of, very popular New York Times bestselling novel, Children of Blood and Bone, written by Tomi Adenami. And this cast is brilliant. And we have Amandla, who is our sci-fi / fantasy queen. I love that she's always doing these projects. But what I hate is that she gets so much crap for it. Starting with her being Baby Rue in the Hunger Games, these insensitive children at the time who are now who knows who voters, said that they didn't take the death of Rue, spoiler alert, in the Hunger Games seriously because she was portrayed by a Black girl.
Yeah, we've talked about that multiple times in reference on this podcast.
And
so
again,
upsetting.
As people who have read the books, Rue has always been brown skinned. So the idea.
Both of the tributes from that district were Black in the books.
That was the Black district.
Yes. Yes.
So insane. And then we talked about her, her work in the Star Wars universe for Acolyte. And those awful people, Star Wars fans are some of the worst fans, I swear, when it comes to seeing brown people on the screen. It's like, did you not know that James Earl Jones is the voice of the villain of the entire universe?
They don't care because Anakin is been portrayed as a white man, so they don't care.
George Lucas is married to a Black woman. Spoiler alert. I don't know. Sorry, I am already on one.
Melody Hobson, guys. Melody. She's amazing.
Legend. Like one of my sheroes in business. Okay.
I literally went to an event one time just for her. I was like, oh, Melody Hobson's going to be here. I mean, this is really the only time I ever get to hear her speak in person. So pop
all of that. They dragged her so much so that she made a diss track against the haters for her role. And guess what? Disney ended up canceling the show anyway, which was very sad because what is the cutie's name? The Filipino actor. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about from The Good Place. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, people were crushing hard on that man.
It was just sad. And so now she's a part of a Black project and people online are giving her a very hard time. So much so that she took the time to do a 9-minute TikTok stating that this character is light-skinned in the book. And she thought she was perfect for the role. She said she wouldn't even have gone for it if it were to have taken an opportunity away from Black people. Like Amandla, this is why I love her. She's very self-aware. She's actually quite brilliant, multi-talented. Like she's a accomplished violinist. She's like one of those. Who's our favorite girl from Grownish? What is her name?
Yara Shahidi.
Like they're like Harvard grads type. You know what I mean? So, and they're very intentional with the projects that they take. And so, Ashley, it really broke my heart that she had to do this. And I forgot she was in The Hate U Give, which is one of the prime examples of people thinking that she's taking roles from brown-skinned people. But she made her argument. Did you watch the video? And do you feel like the video was necessary? And I honestly, I pray for her mental health because, again, to get this much vitriol throughout your entire career is a lot.
Yeah. I hadn't really heard about this till today. So I have not watched the TikTok video, but I just, did a little bit of research for the sake of our discussion. And I definitely understand what she means that, yes, she's had to deal with racism and things like that over the course of her career, going back to her portrayal of Rue, but that this hits different just because she feels like it's people upset with her within her own community that she is, loves and is very passionate about. And obviously that is going to really upset you, especially given the to your point, like sensitivity that seems like she always pays to like the characters and roles she takes on. I haven't read the book. I know the biggest controversy that everybody's talking about is that this character in the book has darker skin and that is an essential part of the character's struggle. So I hear that. I understand that. That makes total sense to me that in that case, it would feel like this is not going to ring as true to the struggle that character would have. And I'm not a brown-skinned woman myself, so I can't speak to, again, those additional feelings that you have. growing up, having to deal with the colorism, the racism, all the things, right? So I understood it, but I also understood Amandla's point of it was the creator themselves who was like, hey, your portrayal of Rue was the thing, one of the biggest factors that made me want to write this book. And I mean, that in and of itself is like, I see why you would want her to have a place in this cast and in this project. So
but I've read the books, and the world is broken up between people with magic, people without magic. People with magic are darker skin. People without magic are lighter skin. This particular character is darker compared to her family, who would be considered light-skinned people. So her casting is fine. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. And she actually took the time to do a lot of showing like a lot of fan art. I'm a huge fan of like books and people taking the time to like, you know, bring the characters to life through their art.
mm-hmm.
And that is a overwhelming representation. Like the main character is, you know, brown skin, and the friend is lighter than the main character, but she's darker compared to her family, and so therefore she's a little bit of the black sheep, so to speak. So that's why I'm just like, y'all didn't read a book, or y'all are just looking for something, because at the end of the day the cast is full of beautiful variations of black people, so it should be fine.
I mean, what I was about to say a minute ago is obviously with her making this statement, she addressed it because she felt like she needed and wanted to, which I mean, I think that's amazing. But back to the actual portrayal, I mean, I guess even still with that, for people who read the book, their interpretation can still be their interpretation. Like the Cosby Show family, maybe people envision Vanessa because they're in a family of Lisa Bonet's. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely understand again that people had their probably own interpretation of what that meant and what that struggle looks like.
Maybe her mama is Meghan Markle. I don't know. Because
I'm gonna doubt that.
I'm teasing.
But you can't, like, I don't want to take away anyone else's feelings or thoughts about it, because I think you're entitled to that. But again, I do think that Amandla, of a lot of the actors and celebrities, seems to take it to heart and really want to be mindful of certain things that she's doing. So I mean, I think she seems like a sweetheart. So hopefully y'all just understand and let this go and just enjoy it for what it is, because I mean, it's art, it's a film, it's not life and death, you know? So let this be what it's going to be. And if you had your own imagination when you're reading the book and this didn't live up to it, then, you know, that's totally fine. Like, but don't harass this girl because you don't feel like she is doing what you envisioned for the character.
Especially because this is based off fiction. It'll be another thing if we had like real life people to pull from and all this. This is fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this discussion even comes up when we have, you know, British black actors portraying historic American figures and things like that. So, I mean, it's all, I have no problem with the discussion. Again, I have no problem with the thoughts around even Amandla's casting, but don't harass the girl. You know what I mean? It's not that deep.
Yes, exactly. Same. All right. We're going to switch gears and talk about Stephen Twitch boss. Mother reveals concerns about her son's memory and legacy after memoir release. So, Ashley, this story has come up, and we haven't said anything on the mic because at the end of the day, when Allison was out here promoting her book, revealing all the things she did about Twitch, we were like, that man married that woman, so that's the big problem over there. Okay, like, what you doing tonight? What you drinking? You know?
Yeah. Didn't feel like my fight at all.
It still isn't our fight, but it is intriguing because his mother is coming out. She sat down with Gayle King. There's a 15-minute interview. And what's fascinating about it is, as I mentioned in the title, she's concerned about her son's legacy. She hasn't been able to see her grandchildren. And, one of the bigger points is Ellison wanted his own mother and family to sign an NDA to attend his funeral. And his mom is pretty much saying, I brought this man into this world. What do you mean you want me to sign an NDA? And what's interesting about this interview with Gayle is his brother was in the episode in this interview as well. And I guess the initial NDA was brought up 3 days after his death. So it felt very much like, oh, what? Excuse me, are we still in shock? And I guess initially they were like, they didn't want any images. They didn't want any statements, none of that of their relationship with Twitch. And then they pushed back. And so she made amendments for like, well, she didn't want anything to come out in regards to the actual funeral. But where it gets interesting from the mom's perspective in this interview is like, so you are so concerned about NDA, but you're writing an entire book about how you found, quote, a cornucopia of drugs, and that you're speaking about journal entries about past abuse, about things that he didn't even tell you about, but you want to put it in a book? This is where it gets tricky, Ashley. What are your thoughts?
I've noted this dysfunction within his family since his passing, right? The whole NDA thing was wild. I was like, oh, I know grief does weird things to people and mindsets, but they may have had to drag me off of her. If I rolled up into that funeral and she tried to tell me I had to sign an NDA for my son. It may have got violent because that's wild, right? The press tour that she's been on, everything that's been going on, it just feels like it has seemed disrespectful to the rest of the people who are close to him. What capacity Twitch was close to his family and these other folks who are speaking out, I have no idea, because what saddens me is the perception that it now gives to his legacy, that before this was all about joy and music and dancing as a part of his professional life. Like, we didn't have any insight into his personal life when he was alive because he didn't want us to, I'm assuming. So it is unfortunate that such a joyful life was cut short in the way that it was, and then there's been this level of fallout since.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
It hasn't felt like anything I've needed to personally weigh in on, because again, it's been a matter between them and their family and his wife, who again, that's his wife, right? That's the woman he married. And when the little daughter came out saying what she said, kind of defending the mom, but calling him Steven, I was like, I don't really know what the dynamics of any of this stuff was.
Nope.
So, God bless everybody involved. But I know if that woman if it was my son, if it was my son, there might have been violence. And I'm not advocating for violence at all. I'm just saying,
it's just funny.
Audacity of people.
That's where the humor comes in. The humor comes in because you have the audacity. Okay. Excuse me?
Girl, we may have been slipping and sliding over that fucking casket before you had me sign the NDA. Like, you're crazy.
Oh my gosh. Some people are saying, well, it looks like somebody got cut off. Like maybe he was financially supporting his family, and so they're, fighting. I don't know what it is, but I can say, I was rooting for Allison, but her press tour has been very cringe. I mean, her talking about them having sex in the rafters at a Glee concert. I'm just like, sis, this isn't doing what you think it's supposed to do. Okay. I don't think this is some little joke, because like you mentioned, you're raking his name through the coals for a man who was so private. And I don't want to speak to, what drove him to what he ultimately did. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think he would be happy about the state in which his name is still being spoken of 2 years later. You know what I mean? I don't think he would want his family feuding publicly in this matter either.
Yeah, man, I wonder how many celebrities are thinking like, damn, this is a new thing clause I got to put in the prenup. If I go, don't say shit about me.
Listen, somebody said this, and I was like, this is so true. A wife protects the husband's legacy, right? A prime example that I think of somebody who has done it well is Vanessa Bryant for Kobe and Gigi. Like, you might have felt some way about her when they were together, because he got her real young. Okay. And she was an LA Lakers, basketball wife for sure, but she has been able to take that mantle and with great pride, and I respect her for it. You know what I'm trying to say here? And I think
I thought you were going to use like a fiction example, like the wife that Glenn Close portrayed, which, I mean, yeah.
What?
It was a film. It was called The Wife. It was the one Glenn Close was up for an Oscar for.
I didn't see that one. Glenn needs her Oscar Academy. Okay.
Yes, she should have gotten it. It was a very interesting movie, but also again, you talk about somebody who's gonna stick beside him. Okay. Yeah. He did her dirty, and she still said, oh no, but y'all not gonna talk shit about my husband though. Okay. So yeah.
All right. Let's get into the hottest topic, and that is the Super Bowl. Ashley, it has been a rough going on 3 weeks. Okay. And it was a combination of just feeling down and the state of the world. We alluded to it in our previous episodes, but my spirits lifted. Okay. And I was like, what was the reason? What was the reason? Shout out Cardi B. The Eagles won, baby. The Eagles won. Where to begin? First of all, who were you rooting for going into the Super Bowl?
It's not even a question. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Ask me to name 2 other Eagles besides Jalen and what's his name? Saquon.
I should know the kicker's name because he did his thing too. I didn't retain it.
But you know what? College fair weather fans or whatever. We said this on this mic plenty of times before. We grew up in black households, which means when there's a football game on, you are rooting for the black quarterback. If you ain't got one of those, you're rooting for the black coach. If you ain't got one of those, you're rooting for the black city. And supposedly there was 2 black quarterbacks.
That's what I was about to say. Well, allegedly there was 2.
Allegedly. And we love our biracial brothers and sisters. We also love the ones that acknowledge who they are. Shout out to Amandla from the top of this conversation. I don't know what Patrick does for. I don't know where his legions lie. Okay.
I feel like I do it and it ain't with us. Okay. If Trump
was trying to be nice
is rooting for you, I am against you. Let me just let y'all know that right now. When he thinks that MAGA loving wife of his, I said, Jesus, this ain't my team.
These are the kahunas that guys think they have, because you got people like Travis Kelce talking about it's an honor.
Girl.
And
That man talk dog shit about your girl.
Your girl! Exactly!
Van said, oh, they ain't getting married. That's what Van said. He said, oh, they ain't getting married. Because what?
Ashley, listen, I'm going to need for you to stand on business. Like we were just saying in the last segment, okay?
Did you see the clip of the lady who had Mahomes voodoo doll in the audience?
Girl, I did.
Freaked me out. Did.
And apparently it worked because, baby, that score was 40.
I'm not playing with y'all like
22.
that.
22. First of all, I do not participate in those things, but I do think that we do not, wrestle against flesh and blood. So I pray to God that was not the reason for that performance. I like to lean on the fact that Jalen Hurts, being the leader that he is, being the focused man who is about his business, had a phenomenal. He is such an old soul, ain't he? Oh my God, Ashley, we have so much to talk about. Okay, here we go. So, as I mentioned, this year's Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. One of the most fascinating things about the interviews that's been going on with him is his screensaver is a picture of him when he lost against the Chiefs 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this is like Jordan level kind of focus. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
yeah. People say he still feels some type of way about his time in Alabama where he got pulled. Yeah. And they went on to win. Benched. So, he's been feeling some type of way for a long time.
They have had so much to say about this young man since he's been in the league. He's only 26 years old. Can we pause? Pause on that real quick, okay? But that Nike commercial, Love Hurts, brilliant. Because basically it was all the naysayers. He's not a franchise player. He's nothing impressive. He's this, he's that, he's that. And he's like, okay, bet. I'm so proud of them. I'm just so proud of him and the team because this was a decisive win.
God. It was satisfying.
Fantastic. 0 for the Chiefs at halftime.
Girl.
Absolutely. In front of the person who was rooting for him.
Almost the biggest deficit going into the halftime of a Super Bowl ever. Only by 1 point. 24. The record was 25. We watched this game over my brother's house, and my brother was on the wrong side of history rooting for the Chiefs. Ooh. And I got to talk dog shit. All night. It was so satisfying. Y'all, I was getting up, running around every time
I was losing my mind.
Got that freaking ball down that field. It was so satisfying.
So good. It was so good. And on top of that, the fact that it was in such a Black city and the music. Can we talk about Lettucey? I saw Lettucey live, by the way. Shout out to Kylia, friend of the pod. She is so adorable live. Like, she just so giddy and so talented and just so light. Her voice is so powerful. She did the damn thing. Okay? Then they had a whole segment of Louisiana music. There was the marching bands and Big Frida and Harry Connick Jr. coming out. That was phenomenal. New Orleans' own John Baptiste sang the national anthem.
That piano was beautiful.
Was it? Exactly, right? But girl, the most watched halftime show in history, starring the Kendrick Lamar. Let's talk about it. What was the first thing that came to mind? Like, I don't even think we got a chance to really talk about our hopes and dreams for his list.
We did. We talked about it last week. We said, hey, did we have any set songs we really wanted to list here? Did we have any predictions for who was going to show up outside of SZA? We talked about it. Yeah.
So I will say this. When he started performing, I realized, okay, I'm not going to know all these songs. I know a lot of Kendrick's music, but when I saw all of the male dancers, all the dancers, period. But I was really impressed with the number of male dancers he had performing. Were in red, white, and blue. I was like, oh, we about to go in.
Yep.
Okay. This ain't gonna be some, bibbity bop kind of halftime show. It's like, and then Sam L.
Yep.
As Uncle Sam. When I say as a Black person, to see quote unquote Uncle Sam embodied by a Black man did something to me.
In front of the bitch ass president that is in office right now.
That did something to me on a molecular level or something. I'm like, yo! And then just the visual of Black people forming the American flag and then us being divided as a country. Because he showed that too. I also noticed the bell bottoms. Did you see them?
His jeans that everybody was talking about? Yes.
Low key, this has had me rolling because I was like, I thought I was the only one. I really did. For me, I don't think I've ever seen a halftime show that featured non-musical guests like this one, because he did the thing that I was unsure.
That's a good point. I don't think so.
I was like, is he gonna do Not Like Us?
Yes, I told you he was. I said, there ain't no way he ain't gonna get the people what they want. There ain't no way. And I love the way he went about it. The teaser at first, they like to sue.
Yep.
And then guess what? I gotta get the people what they want.
Yep. And that smile when he said, "Hey Drake," was diabolical.
I said that for the next 24 hours. When I tell you the entire next day, say Drake. I hate you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. When I tell y'all, I said that repeatedly throughout the day, the next day. Okay? Cultural influence for real.
Serena Williams kept walking.
Oh my God.
I screamed.
Yes.
It was like, what is wrong? I was like, oh my God. It's Serena Williams.
The scream I scrimped was real as well. I don't know how people did not like this performance. I was like, if you did not like this performance, it was not for you, because I don't know what else to tell you. It was amazing to me. From the production design to the messaging to the cameos, like it was a full production, people.
It was. Y'all, did you realize that it was a PlayStation controller that was on that field? And the way he moved throughout the entire performance, the breath control, so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear what he said.
Two-step the whole way through.
Yes. And some say, I don't know, is this true? It's a PlayStation controller, and Drake's one of his labels is Sony.
I don't know, but I hope so. I hope so.
But for me, I was like, what is up with this lowercase a around this man's neck?
A minor.
I was like, this man, because I for sure was watching what he was wearing and seeing if there was some symbolism, and that A just kept popping up. And I'm like, what is up with this? And I'm like, oh, he was not done. Some may say, when they say Drake apologists are like, oh, you're beating a dead horse. Who cares? Who cares? This is the biggest song of his career. Okay. And it was fabulous. And the fact that people still has the same level of enthusiasm from last week's Grammys to this week's Super Bowl performance says a lot about how Drake is probably perceived in this industry.
And the thing is, I don't even hate Drake, but I take such satisfaction out of just this moment. Like, it's the competitiveness, just like with the game. Like, it's just a level of competitiveness that it's not about like me wanting to see you destroyed as a person. I don't know you, sir. But musically, it is very entertaining.
And as a fan of rap beef, the fact that this is the rap beef of the century, already, right? But the fact that we were in the midst of this beef last summer and there was a clear winner. And again, Drake comes out of the clear blue like a sore loser trying to sue. The fact that Kendrick is like, you know what? Yes, this song won all the big awards at the Grammys. And yes, I just performed on the biggest stage dissing you. So go ahead and cry. You're, what he calls himself, a playboy, whatever.
I don't know. That man was clear in another continent to escape the Super Bowl. That man was in Australia. Did you see his outfit? I was so upset with this outfit. I was like, you already are going through it, and this is what the fuck you step out looking like?
That's what I'm saying. He's a fan. Okay. Ashley, any other thoughts about this freaking Super Bowl and halftime show?
I didn't want the Chiefs to score a single point. I was ready for it to be over in third quarter because I was like, oh, they about to start just like letting them get some off
and that's what
they
happened.
know it's over. Yep. They took Jalen and them out. They said, we don't even need our starters for y'all no more. That defensive line on the Eagles was unstoppable. That 1-2 combo sack that they got off on Mahomes, arm down, and in the face. Me and my mom, we were like, yo. That was crazy.
Yes.
And then they had it on like the reel as soon as they came back from a commercial. I said, oh, y'all are quick. Because that's amazing. The defensive line, somebody on the defense, as much as I love Jalen Hurts, if they had a secondary MVP, somebody from that defensive line needed it.
That's what he said in his interviews. He's like, defense wins games. And that's what happened.
They did their thing. And the cold, dead look in Travis Kelce's eyes throughout, again, I felt like, I don't hate Travis Kelce, but I felt a deep sense of like satisfaction. I was like, you look so distraught right now.
Mahomes at one point just started smiling, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is because you don't want to be seen crying. Because, sir, I don't think he is a great quarterback, but he did not show up on Sunday. I don't know what happened.
I don't think I've seen a worse showing probably since that one Super Bowl where Peyton like really messed up to start and never gained any momentum. That was a really bad showing for like a star quarterback that I can remember in Super Bowl history. And I'm sure people were way bigger football fans than me would be like, oh, we've had plenty. But that's the other one that I can think of recently. But I mean, again, the defense of the Eagles made it impossible for him to be good, in my opinion.
Correct.
Like he got sacked the thing. 6 times.
I think people are like, oh, the Chiefs play bad. No, the Eagles did the damn thing.
Yes,
that's what they did. They were prepared and they showed up and showed out.
And y'all must forget they only lost by 3 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
So it was nowhere near the blowout that we saw on Sunday. But damn, I have to agree with you, though. I wouldn't say I started this week in better spirits than usual, but I started this week in better spirits than usual because I was so wound up from this.
I didn't realize how much. But see, I think what it is, Ashley, is like, I'm about to get deep. It's like, you may try to put me down with these laws, these executive orders, but still I rise. Our culture still came through on Sunday. Our culture came through on the Grammys. Mm-hmm. They came through with the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I mean, shout out to these things salvaging Black History Month, okay? Because that's the one thing that happens when political oppression happens. The culture flourishes in these dark times because that's what keeps us going, right?
It's like when Jesse Owens showed out in front of Hitler at the Olympics.
Exactly. That is what I am saying. We're right here, Ashley. We're right here. And then the fact that Serena was crip walking, which y'all don't understand. When she won the gold the gold medal in tennis. I don't remember what year it was. And she crip walked. That was the best thing ever, but she got in so much trouble. And obviously, because this is Kendrick Lamar, there's layers. She was crip walking on the X platform, Ashley. Like I said, there's the PlayStation, the O, the triangle, the X. She was crip walking on the X, and he featured 2 of Drake's exes in that performance. Shout out to SZA.
Yes, he did.
Layers, y'all.
The last thing I wanted to say about my satisfaction with this whole thing was to get to see Jalen and Bree.
Yes!
At the end of the game.
I love how prim and proper he is, which he's probably not in real life because he's a Q. So let's keep that in the front of our minds. But I love it in public. I mean, when he does his tongue thing, I'm like, Lord, this is dangerous. But they looked amazing. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I loved it. Thank you, Ashley, for bringing it up because that brought me so much joy. And shout out to his agent.
He's bringing Black women checks. Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I kept telling my brother. I said, you rooting against the Eagles in this game is you rooting against Black women getting money. that was one of my shit talking moments. It was amazing. It was fun. That's the biggest thing.
It
was fun.
We had a time. A time was had. Shout out to Nicole Lynn. She has a book that I'm like, you know what? I'm buying this tomorrow. So let's talk about commercials.
I don't really have anything to say.
It was a bit underwhelming, wasn't it?
I will say a bunch of celebrity cameos hawking a bunch of shit.
So you have nothing to say because I have a best and I have a worst.
Go right ahead.
My worst is that Mountain Dew featuring Seal as a seal.
It was gross and weird.
It was disturbing. Yeah. I did not like it at all. I felt like it was borderline racist. Don't ask me how, but I'm just like, you got this Black man who got that one song and y'all want to put him on a seal body? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And what I mean, y'all, I don't like it when they put Black people as animals and stuff like that. It's just weird. It's weird. I mean, we come from a history of people calling Black people inhumane, monkeys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need to see it in my Mountain Dew commercial, which, by the way, Blakely Thornton, again, one of our favorite internet voices, he said it well. It's like, if Sprite is for the Blacks, Mountain Dew is probably for the white boys. You're not even marketing to me. So this isn't for me. And I don't like how you're placing this Black man in this commercial. I said what I said. What I loved, shout out Nike. All women stars in multiple sports. So we're talking about featuring Aja Wilson with that basketball on the nails. That was a fire shot. Caitlin Clark, that girl, Jordan Childs, and a myriad of other phenomenal players. Sha'Carri Richardson. That was so inspiring. It's like, you can't win, so win. You can't do something, so do it. Just do it. Brilliant marketing. And apparently Nike hadn't had an ad in like 20-some years for the Super Bowl. I was like, really?
Well, I mean, it's not like they needed it, right? I mean, those spots are millions of dollars. I think maybe $8 million this year for a 30-second spot. Nike is Nike. So, the commercials didn't do anything for me. There was one that was funny. That was like 4 older women. I can't remember what the product was though, but that one made me chuckle. And then Issa tax commercial. I remember that one. And I
was so proud of her. I was like, look at Issa in a Super Bowl commercial.
And then Homes.com. That was a memorable one with Morgan Freeman and Dan Levy and them.
But speaking of the Levy, Eugene Levy's eyebrows being flown away. I was not a fan of that.
Weird. There were a couple, like the Instacart commercial was weird. Like there was just a couple of like weird moments in general.
Well, I also thought it was weird. It's not necessarily weird, but the alien Doritos commercial. I'm like, Doritos ain't that good, sir.
Doritos always has a spot in these freaking Super Bowl commercials, though.
They do. But the one commercial that I actually quite enjoyed was the Angel Soft commercial where they gave you a break to go to the bathroom. I was like, this is so smart. Why haven't y'all been doing this?
Like, brief. Who can go pee
that quickly? They need it longer, but again, expensive.
Yeah.
The other element of the Super Bowl that I realized that I didn't care much for this year were the celebrities. Like, it didn't really hit this year where it's like, oh, so and so is here, blah blah blah. Was there anything that was like exciting, like star sightings for you?
Nah. I mean, Bradley Cooper being there was fun, just off of Silver Linings Playbook and knowing how big of fans they were, and all of that translates.
I was disappointed in John Hamm, though. I was like, oh no.
My mom confused him with a much older actor that had me cackling. I was like, oh, I guess you're saying John isn't aging well, because he's actually a heartthrob.
Quite seriously.
There's nobody there I can think of. You know, Jay-Z and Blue and Rumi were there. And, you know, I ended up seeing that, you know, who else was there? Karrueche and Chance the Rapper and Tiana Taylor
Kiara was there with Russell.
No, nothing. It wasn't anything like out of the ordinary or exciting. But I will say the one thing that gave me joy post that I didn't see or note was Jeff Goldblum apparently really enjoyed when the Jumbotron hit him. He waved enthusiastically, stood up, did a little dance, did a little heart. I mean, I
didn't see that.
He's adorable. Like, Jeff Goldblum is adorable. I love Jeff Goldblum. So,
and then we talked about it just briefly, but
and I don't know if that was at the Super Bowl. It could have been another occasion, but I thought it was Super Bowl.
Jalen Hurts' press tour is quite hilarious because a lot of comments I'm reading is what you said at the top of the segment. He's an old soul. He has no time for these questions. Like, I told Dave, I was like, he is not a personality, and that's fine. I mean, he just needs to take pictures and win games at this rate, because I noticed some of the comments, they're like, oh, he's fine and boring. I'm like, oh, Jalen, but he's so serious. He's a focused basketball. What, Lord, edit that. He's a focused football player. Like,
and also, he don't owe y'all nothing. He don't owe y'all nothing,
especially because they talk so much crap about him through the years, right? So he's just like, let my win say what it needs to say. He gives y'all
a show on the field. Y'all don't have any say over what he chooses to share with y'all outside of that. Like, he's living his life at Disney.
Are assuming, you know, like the Kelsey brothers, shout out to their podcast, because I did listen to it. Travis showed up. He looked like crap, but he showed up and talked about it.
That man is devastated.
He is. He really is. And shout out to Jason, though, because he was like, yo, I love you. You're my brother. I was rooting for you. I also love the Eagles because he played for them for all those years. He knows everybody inside and out, up and down. So he felt so conflicted. And I was like, they understood each other. So I thought that was a beautiful moment in that podcast. But Travis would throw out comments like, you know, Jason was like, yeah, they did this play and it was really great. And Travis was like, oh, if we had showed up, yeah, like he was devastated. And he was, I think the other thing that was interesting in that conversation was like, you know, three-peats has never happened. But that's a lot on the body, like practically 60 games or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, sir.
Yeah, I didn't know he was contemplating retirement. So
me either, but it makes sense though, because again, he's the best of all time. He said that he doesn't care about that, which is interesting. His brother was like, you will when you're retired. But he about to be the what was Kevin Hart's show? Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Gonna be a kept man.
All right, Ashley. Again, congratulations to Jalen. I'm excited he is doing this press run because I think he is a star, and he might not be the star in terms of personality, like I mentioned, like the Kelsey brothers or something, but he actually kind of gives me Russell Wilson vibes, but he's even more stoic than freaking Russell Wilson. So I don't know.
With all the shenanigans that go on with people in media with big personalities, I'm just fine with him being laid back and what y'all consider to be boring. Because if y'all want more Elon Musks and all these mofos in the world, they out there. Let him be fine, calm, and normal.
Exactly. Right. Go home to Bree. Be happy.
Please.
He's the Southern boy too, and he's close with his grandma. He's well bred. That's what we call it. He's a well bred man, who know what it is. He's like ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Go to work.
Yep. Let it be. I am salty though that he was at Disney World. I was like, damn, why I move out of Orlando again? Because could have been
it was in your backyard.
Running to Jalen Hurts. You just never know.
He was right there like that. So just for that parade.
I could have snuck in. Anyway.
That's all I got for today. What are we doing next week?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned already, guys, that we are going to do an In Conversation this month. And guess what? It is the time. So on Tuesday, we are dropping our latest In Conversation. This one is with the lovely Kiara Harris. She is a current producer on the Jennifer Hudson Show.
Yes,
She's done a number of other projects. So we are going to get a chance to talk to her,
including her Wax,
including Wax to Riches. Yes, currently streaming. Yep. We're going to pick her brain, get some gems and advice from her, hear some stories and her experience and her journey, some of the usual topics, as well as, what she does with self-care and things like that. So it's definitely a great conversation. We're looking forward to sharing it with you guys. So come back to us on Tuesday to check that out. But please share this episode with everybody you know. We appreciate it. Yes. Let us know your thoughts on the Super Bowl and the halftime show. We love to hear from you. We will be back, as I mentioned, with that In Conversation. But in the meantime, as always, guys, be blessed.
Bye.